And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, Ramona, Tanya, twins, Elena and Ella, and Nina. Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, Ramona, Tanya, Ella, Elena, and Nina made Cinderella do all the chores, sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, Ramona, Tanya, Elena, Ella, and Nina all together. One day, the king of Quadra, the Cuppingham's messengers rise and says, Hear ye, the king of Quadra, the Cuplingham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quadra the Coupling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Fiona. Ophelia said, No way, Fiona, he's going to marry me. Ursula said, Both of you are wrong, he's going to marry me. Ramona said, All 3 of you are wrong, he's going to marry me. The rest said, All 4 of you are wrong, he's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad doing chores that she can't go to the ball and marry Prince Quadra the Coupling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what's wrong by saying, Why are you crying, Cinderella? In which Cinderella responds, I have lots of chores to be done, but I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Quadra the Coupling. Cinerella's fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic, and waves her magic wand. Because of that, Cinerella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some ice. Luckily, Cinderella has 14 pumpkins and 28 mice. Cinerella's fairy godmother waved her magic wand again to turn the 14 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 28 mice into horses for the coach to drive, and Cinerella's red clothes into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, I've never seen such a fantastic gown. Get a load of my glass slippers, and hopped onto the coach. Her fairy godmother said, Have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before. And gave her a clock to tell her what time it is. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Quadra the Coupling was wondering who he should marry. Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, Ramona, Tanya, Elena, Ella, and Nina say he's walking towards me all together, but he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Quadra the Coupling dance happily together. But when Cinderella checks her clock, it's almost midnight! So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost both of her glass slippers. Prince Quadra the Coupling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Quadra the Coupling had to find her and brought the 2 glass slippers with him. By the time he arrives, he knocks on the door of the home where Cinderella and her 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters. But instead of 14 Cinderella, he finds her 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters. Prince Quarter-Cumbling then said, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these glass slippers?" Fiona is first, but her feet are too big. Ophelia is next, but her feet are too small. The rest did the same thing, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Quarter-Cumbling notices 14 Cinderella's singing. The glass slippers fit! 14 Cinderella gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Quarter-Cumbling back. And then, Prince Quarter-Cumbling and 14 Cinderella lived happily ever after. The end. I hope this was a fun story, Andrew Stewards. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at andrewdoeseverything.com. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Stewards, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 19-Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young girl named 19-Cinderella. 19-Cinderella had 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Nina, Isabella, Nellie, Ellie, Tilly, Emmy, Evie, and Natalie. Nina, Isabella, Nellie, Ellie, Tilly, Emmy, Evie, and Natalie. They made 19-Cinderella do all the chores. 19er winch. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all. Said Nina, Isabella, Nellie, Ellie, Tilly, Emmy, Evie, and Natalie all together. One day, the king of Non-Cumblingham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, the king of Non-Cumblingham is going to Frolic, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Non-Coupling. But 19-Cinderella is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. They argue who will marry Prince Non-Coupling. Later, 19-Cinderella is so sad, doing chores that she can't go to the ball and marry Prince Non-Coupling. While her fairy godmother asks her what's wrong by saying, Why are you crying, 19-Cinderella? 19-Cinderella, in which responds, I got lots of chores to be done, but I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Non-Coupling. But her fairy godmother says, I can help with a bit of magic, and waves her magic wand. And because of that, 19-Cinderella's chores are all done, but her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 19-Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, 19-Cinderella has 19 pumpkins and some 38 mice. 19-Cinderella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to transform the 19 pumpkins into a handsome coach and the 38 mice into strong horses. Then 19-Cinderella's ripped clothes into a gown and crown. 19-Cinderella said, I've never seen such a non-couple-tastic gown. Get a load of my glass slippers. Her fairy godmother said, have fun, 19-Cinderella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before. 19-Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Non-Coupling was wondering who he should marry. Nina, Isabella, Nellie, Ellie, Tilly, Emmy, Evie, and Natalie said all together, He's walking towards me! But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 19-erella. 19-erella and Prince Not-a-Coupling dance happily together. But later, 19-erella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Not-a-Coupling was really worried that he might never see 19-erella again. So he traveled all around Not-a-Coupling to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. By the time he arrived, he knocked on the door of the home where 19-erella and her 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 19-erella, he finds her 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters, Nina to Natalie. He then said, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Nina is first." But her foot is too big. Isabella is next, but her foot is too small. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Not-a-Coupling noticed 19-erella singing. The glass slipper fits! And 19-erella gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Not-a-Coupling back. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. And I've been admitting I'm making some sequels, Andrew's Doers, of 19-erella. And so, if you want to see some sequels to 19-erella, tell your friends about it, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Internet Everything, and buy our merchandise at interneteverything.com, etc. And take care, Andrew's Doers. Bye. And now, Andrew's Doers, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 29-erella. It is for the 2900 special. It is based on the story of Cinderella. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young girl named 29-erella. 29-erella had 10 ugly, wicked, mean stepsisters. Hers named Tina, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Yadina, Natalia, Isabella, Nadina, and Erica. Altera made 29-erella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Tina to Erica all together. One day, the king of November Vigilante Tumbling-Hand's messenger said, hear ye, the king of November Vigilante Tumbling-Hand is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince November Tumbling. But 29-erella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. They then argue over who will marry Prince November Tumbling later. 29-erella is so sad that she can't go to the ball and marry Prince November Tumbling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother asks her what's wrong by saying, "Why are you crying, 29-erella?" 29-erella responds, "I can't go to the ball and marry Prince November Tumbling." 29-erella's fairy godmother said, "I can help with a bit of magic," and waved her magic wand. Because of that, 29-erella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 29-erella, go fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, 29erella has 29 pumpkins. 29erella's fairy godmother waved her magic wand again to turn the 29 pumpkins into a handsome throne drawn by 58 strong horses. And then 29ers were clothed into a gown and crown. 29erella said, I've never seen such a 29-tastic gown! And get a hold of my glass slippers! Her fairy godmother said, have fun, 29erella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before. 29erella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince November Tupling was wondering who he should marry. He is walking towards me, said Tina to Erica all together, but he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 29erella. 29erella and Prince November Tupling dance happily together. But later, 29erella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince November Tupling was so worried that he might never see 29erella again. So he traveled all around November Tupling to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the house where 29erella and her 10 ugly, mean stepsisters lived. But instead of 29erella, he finds her Tina to Erica. Prince November Tupling then said, ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Unfortunately, none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince November Tupling notices 29erella's sweet singing. 29erella gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince November Tupling back. And Prince November Tupling doesn't have to put the glass slipper back on her foot because it's so uncomfortable. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. And good night, Andrews Doers. And I've been debating on making the sequels maybe a bit of a tradition. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 49erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 49erella. 49erella had 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Farah, Olivia, Ramona, Tanya, Yvonne, Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella. All 9 of them constantly made fun of 49erella and made her do all the chores. 49er wench, sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said them all together. One day, the king of 49ville's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, hear ye! The king of 49ville is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Non-Quadrant Tupling. But 49erella is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. They are overjoyed. They ran with huge excitement and picked out dresses to wear to the ball, but argue over who will Prince Not a Quadrant Tupling marry. Later, 49erella is so sad doing chores about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Not a Quadrant Tupling. Whatever will I do? She went first. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts 49erella. There, now, 49er, I can help with a bit of magic. Nobody will know it's you, she said. She then waves her magic wand. And because of that, 49er chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 49er, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 49er has 49 pumpkins and 98 mice. 49er's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 49 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 98 mice into horses, and the 49er's brick clothes into a gown and crown. 49er says, I've never seen such a not a quadrangle-tastic gown! And get a load of my glass slippers! Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? And climbs into the coach. 49er's fairy godmother says, well, you can't, but have fun, 49er, but I will warn you. Return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will go back to normal. And so, 49er accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Nana Quadrangle was wondering who he should marry. Wondering who to marry, son? asked the wise, kind-hearted, and bold King 49ville, to which Prince Nana Quadrangle responds, yes, father. You're going to marry me, Prince Nana Quadrangle, said Farah, the oldest of 49er's ugly, mean, wicked stepsister. Farah, wrong. You're Prince Nana Quadrangle, you're going to marry me, said Olivia. Both of you are wrong. Prince Nana Quadrangle, you're going to marry me, said Ramona. The rest say, you're going to marry me, Prince Nana Quadrangle. But Prince Nana Quadrangle did not angrily denies the request. Suddenly, 49er arrives at the ball just in time. Prince Nana Quadrangle sees her, walks straight towards her, and says, you must be 49er. May I please have this dance? To which 49er responds, yes, I would be happy to. And so, 49er and Prince Nana Quadrangle dance happily together. But later, 49er realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she ran so fast that she left one of her glass slippers behind. Prince Nana Quadrangle was really worried that he might never see her again. The king of 49ville comforts him by saying, there, now, son. I think we'll be able to find 49er. And so, the next day, Prince Nana Quadrangle and the king of 49ville traveled all around 49ville and tried to find 49er who captured Prince Nana Quadrantle's heart and brought the glass sliver she lost with them. By the time they arrived, they knock on the door of the home where 49er and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 49er, they find Farah, Olivia, Ramona, Tanya, Yvonne, Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella. Prince Nana Quadrangle then says, ladies, my father and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these glass slippers? Farah is first, but her foot is too big. Olivia's next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits! She said. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Nana Quadrangle and the king of 49ville noticed 49er sweet singing. Prince Nana Quadrangle and the king of 49ville, your majesty, is that you guys? She hollered excitedly, to which the king of 49ville says, 49er, my dear daughter-in-law, we found you. Will you marry Prince Nana Quadrangle? 49erella and Prince Nana Quadragentopling are now married. They, along with the King of 49erville, lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrew Stewards. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything, and buy our merchandise at AndrewDoesEverything.com. And take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Stewards, Andrew Does Everything, proudly presents 89erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 89erella. 89erella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, Tasha, Irina, Natalia, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella. All of them constantly make fun of 89erella and make her do all the chores. 89er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes and windows. Do it all, said the 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters all together. And then, one day, the king of Nana Octa, Jin Tublingham's messenger, arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Nana Octa, Jin Tublingham, his royal majesty is going to throw a ball, and whoever that is the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Nana Octa Jin Tubling. Can I come?" asked 89erella. But she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. They were overjoyed, ran with huge excitement, and picked out dresses to wear to the ball, but argued over who will marry Prince Nana Jin Tubling. Later, 89erella is so sad, distraught, and upset about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Nana Jin Tubling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks comforts 89erella. There now, my dear. 89erella, she said, I'll fix everything for you. Nobody will know it's you. She then waves her magic wand. Because of that, 89erella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 89erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 89erella has 89 pumpkins and 178 mice. And then 89erella's waves her magic wand again to turn the 89 pumpkins into a handsome coach and 170 mice into horses and fixes 89's now torn dress and makes it bigger, better. 89erella said, I've never seen such a non-octogen tuple-tastic gown. And get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? And climbed into the coach. 89erella's fairy godmother said, well, you dear, you can't, but have fun. On 89erella, my dear, but I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before, and gave her a clock to tell her what time it is. And so, 89erella accepts the warning. Meanwhile, the king of Nana Jin Tublingham says, good evening, everyone. Prince Nana Jin Tubling was wondering who he should marry. Isn't that right, son? In which Prince Nanaata Jane Topling says, yes, father. Suddenly, 89 arrived at the ball just in time. He's walking towards me! Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, Tasha, Irina, Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella all together. But Prince Nanaata Jane Topling is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 89 He then says, may I have this dance? In which 89 responds, I would be delighted. And so, 89 and Prince Nanaata Jane Topling dance happily together. But later, as 89 checks her clock, and it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Nanaata Jane Topling was really worried that he might never see 89 again. The king of Nanaata Jane Topling comforts him by saying, there, now, son. I think we'll be able to find 89 my dear daughter-in-law. And so, the king of Nanaata Jane Topling and Prince Nanaata Jane Topling began their journey all around the neighborhood to find her, and brought the glass slipper she lost with them. By the time they arrived, they knocked on the door of the house where 89 and her 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 89 they find Eliza to Ella. Prince Nanaata Jane Topling then said, ladies, my father, the king of Nanaata Jane Topling and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Eliza is first, but her foot is too big. Isabella is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits, she said. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of Nanaata Jane Topling and Prince Nanaata Jane Topling then noticed 89 singing. Ba-da-da-da. Your Majesty and Prince Nanaata Jane Topling, is that you guys? She hollered excitedly. The glass slipper fits. And now, 89 the king of Nanaata Jane Topling and Prince Nanaata Jane Topling then lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like it, share, and introduce everything, and buy our merchandise at introduceeverything.com. And I've also been debating on making the sequels a bit of tradition. So take care. Bye.